Hey everybody. It's currently February 23rd, 2022. About a few hours ago, it looks like Ukraine was invaded by Russia. And so I actually wasn't planning on making a video originally, but I think it would be good just for us to check in on futures and then kind of look at how that translates into the market going into tomorrow. We're going to go ahead and identify some levels of support and resistance and then kind of go over some probable scenarios. Now, before I begin, obviously, I'm talking about just kind of numbers and data and charts and money. But if we all just kind of put that aside, it's pretty sad and unfortunate to see that diplomacy did not work out in this case. And, whenever there are conflicts like these, innocent people are always going to be caught in the crossfire. And, I was just going over some footage and looks like like both sides are, I think, reporting some casualties. And I saw that an apartment was actually just bombed. So definitely, it's not something that I think anyone really enjoys to see. And I was really, really hoping there would be a diplomatic solution to this, but it looks like we're not going to get that, and this conflict could just be getting started. So with that being said, and I just kind of want to acknowledge that before we begin, because we're just going to be kind of looking at numbers, and obviously that doesn't paint the um, full picture. So let's just go ahead and get started. Right now, we're looking at the S&P 500 futures. As we speak, they're down about 2.5%. So that would translate to roughly $411 on the um, SPY ETF. So today I actually closed out my bearish position. I had a put as a hedge, closed it out for about 70% profits. It was about $666. And the reason why I closed it out was I thought we were going to double bottom right here. If you notice, we finally hit our 100% retracement right around um, 420. It was almost around $420. I think we closed the market at like $421. So it was right around there, around $423. I took profits just because I was anticipating that we would at least test this level of support. And even if we didn't get a bounce, the idea was okay. We test 420, we could see a potential bounce and reversal at least to 428. Then we kind of establish a lower high, and then it would just be either a breakout towards probably 439, or we would just continue lower, break 420, and then maybe head towards 410, 411. Um, as we speak, futures are right at 411. So we are currently testing that next level after 420 has broken. So tomorrow, how I'm kind of going to be playing this is I'm going to be watching the first 5 to 15 minutes. I think that's going to be kind of telling about the direction for the day. Um, what we could see is, we're going to gap down for sure, but we're probably going to see either two scenarios. One, we keep going lower and we drop straight to 400. That would be our next natural level of support. Or second probability is, or possibility is, we're going to probably gap down, um, probably move a little bit sideways, and then we could make a push back up towards $420. Now that support level is going to be resistance, so we could close that gap, and then it's either going to be, maybe we play puts towards a bearish position back towards 411, and maybe test a double bottom potentially, or we break out and we start to build some momentum and maybe form some lower highs from there, and a tightening range. On the Nasdaq, it's actually affected a little bit more. We're down about 3%. So what I'm probably looking for here is we were talking about how 334 would be our next level of support. We're definitely going to break that right now. I think tomorrow we're probably looking at least not only 329 being tested, but most likely 324. So I'm not really sure if that's going to hold or not. But basically, what I'm anticipating is probably gap down, test of 324. If that doesn't hold, most likely we're going to be testing 311.93. Remember, tech is probably going to be more affected compared to like industrials and commodities. So definitely something to keep an eye out for. Um, if we are able to hold 311, maybe we could start building a position and work our way back up to 324. But definitely right now, this does not look like a good chart. I mean, Nasdaq already broke that double bottom we had. SPY just has done so now too, but this looks like we're probably going to be going lower and testing 311.93. I also just want to take a moment to quickly talk about the Russell 2000. A lot of these growth stocks are probably going to see some pretty big pain tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if we see like 6 to 9% um, down on a lot of names. 188.09 is the level we want to watch tomorrow. That would be a double bottom and our previous low. If we break below that, I think we're probably going to test 185.48. And then VIX, we kind of talked about the scenario where, okay, if a war does break out, there's probably going to be an initial spike, right? So tomorrow we could see a test of 34 or 38, but it's kind of a binary event, right? So at that point, there's no more uncertainty about whether or not a war is going to happen or not. Right now, it's happening, so I think the market is going to probably digest that. Might not be pretty at first, but then we're kind of going to realize, okay, this is kind of the reality that we're in, and we could work with it. So as long as World War III doesn't happen, we're probably going to see VIX spike, climax, and then probably drop pretty significantly. So I mean, I can't give financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I would say if you're playing like maybe UVXY or VXX, you usually want to sell into strength because those contracts can lose value pretty significantly if the direction goes against you. And then lastly, we're just going to quickly take a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin right now, as it stands, we're probably going to be testing our weekly 100 SMA. I plan on adding more here at probably 32,429. The main reason why is we have a double bottom with 32,950, and we have the confluence of our 100 SMA on the weekly, and then also the 61.8% retracement. So it's a very, very strong level of support. On-chain data, I mean, is still showing, lots of, Bitcoin leaving the exchanges. So that's a sign that, people are just kind of holding it. And then there's also the fact that um, a lot of people will argue that Bitcoin is actually, even though it's down about 6.47%, which is worse than the indexes, a lot of people would argue that, Bitcoin has kind of anticipated this, and the crypto market as a whole has anticipated this heightened risk of invasion before the rest of the market has. So that also adds to the bullish case. Nothing has changed fundamentally. I'll still be adding, but really it's just focusing on quality. I will say I'm pretty surprised. Solana usually in times when the market kind of goes down, Solana typically is more volatile and drops further. But Solana actually relative to the broader market is holding up really, really well. It's only down about 4% compared to other names like Aave and Chainlink and Luna that are down between 11 to 14%. So that's definitely a bullish sign. I actually alerted to everybody in the Discord. I was saying $80 would be another level, to add Solana at. And I think we made a low of like $75. So that support actually has held up so far. Um, but yeah, it's definitely interesting to see Solana holding up better than Ethereum. Ethereum's almost down 10%. So I think a probable scenario is Ethereum could see right now we have a double bottom at 2306. If that breaks and we don't hold 2306, most likely we're probably going to see a test of 2163. I personally think that's probably the lowest we're going to go, but if not, we could see a test of potentially at the lowest, I would say probably around 1800, maybe 1870, right around where our weekly 100 SMA is. So before I end the video, definitely tomorrow is going to be choppy. It's going to be volatile. Um, your best bet is going to be probably maybe having some news headlines up on the side, right? Kind of like on live news, and then also just kind of following the price action. A lot of things may not necessarily be technical driven, but at least we can identify levels of support and resistance, and we have a plan going into tomorrow. Definitely keep an eye out for any news regarding potential peace or ceasefire. I think the market could have a good reaction to that. But right now it's definitely a trying time for a lot of people. So um, definitely, if you have a high cash position, there's nothing wrong with that. But be ready to deploy your capital because a lot of opportunities will arise from this. And historically speaking, actually investing and trading during an invasion is actually a good bet. Data has shown that usually like a few months to a year after there's a dip caused by some sort of conflict or war, market usually does rebound higher. So that is just kind of something interesting. And some might argue, okay, we're in an inflationary situation right now, and there's a lot more uncertainty with interest rate hikes. But others would say, no, history is probably going to repeat itself. It usually does. So definitely some interesting viewpoints to consider. Um, I will be up tomorrow as well, probably you know an hour or two before market opens. So that's gonna be probably around five a.m. Pacific time. So hopefully, next time you guys see me um, in a video, hopefully the news is better and hopefully there is peace. But we will see. So take care, everybody, and safe trading.